where have your Che Guevara pictures gone? Because you had two, not one, but two Che Guevara
Yes, I did.
pictures on here, which attracted a lot of attention.
I'm sick of the attention. We've talked about it before. They were mementos from a trip I did to Cuba that I bought for a couple of dollars each in the airport on the way home. And I thought, they'll look good on the wall. A memory of going to Cuba. And every time we put a video out, and every time I'm on the news, it's like, are you a communist? Why don't you get the communists to vote for you? What's that pit? It's like, I'm just sick of it. And the final straw was my Tusi video I did last week, an interview I did with him on his channel, which got something like 45,000 views.
Wow, excellent.
And I got dozens and dozens of messages all about Che Guevara, and I thought, I've had enough now. I really didn't want to remove him, and I've stuck to my guns now for a year, saying, sod it, leave him there. I'm too tough. But they've worn me down. And I thought, I'm just moving him. That's the end of that.
The love affair with Che Guevara is over.
It's over. I've dumped him now. And I've replaced it with a Manchester B.
The Manchester and Shell, which of course
Shell was there.
The climate. I know it's not Shell.
Yeah, so I moved Shell one down one because that was bigger. So no more Che Guevara.
Yeah. I must admit though, when I see a Manchester B, especially if it's on a car in front of me, I tend to drive closer to that car and try and drive them off the road because they just tend to irritate me.
Oh no, have I done something else now?
No, I'm just...
It's just a bee. My wife won it at an auction. It's just a bee.
But I think the Manchester bee symbolises a way of thinking, and probably completely wrong, but I tend to notice people who have Manchester bees tend to be a certain type of... I'm going to get hounded for this comment, basically. So I'm not a fan of the Manchester bee.
I'm not, and I see what you mean. Most of the people who got a Manchester bee tattoo after the arena bombings were a lot, not all of them, a lot of the ones who'd never had a tattoo before were left-wing people. I decided rather than be angry and solve the problem with Islamic terrorism, they'll make a stand by having a bee tattoo on them.
And I think we've kind of, I didn't spot the bee actually when we came in, but we've moved into something here which isn't on my topic list today, but I think there's a very important point here, what you said about being angry, because what happened after the Manchester bombing was there were kind of these displays of grief and songs such as Let's Not Look Back in Anger, and people coming on saying we shouldn't be angry about this, we need to work, and there were kind of shows of unity with Islamic clerics or whatever it might be. And my thought process at that time, and it sounds, we never discussed this, I thought, why shouldn't we be angry? Why shouldn't we be furious? Why shouldn't people be angry, demanding retribution, revenge in that situation? Because it was a horrible thing that happened to the people of Manchester. Innocent men, women and children were killed, mainly young children, as I seem to young girls. My view is we should be angry about this, and we should do something about this, and we shouldn't talk about healing and all that, and my view is that the Islamic clerics and everybody else should have also been angry about this if they represented their community and they didn't think this was a fair representation. But we didn't do that, and things like the Manchester Bee happened, and this kind of very passive reaction to horrific events that seem to occur within particular or from representatives of particular communities seem to be almost brushed over and dismissed. And did you feel that was the same way at the time?
Absolutely. Can you imagine another time in any other country where you'd have such a horrendous terrorist attack and there was no backlash to the community that those people came from?
Yeah.
I remember the IRA bombing campaign.
Yeah.
Irish people were punished for that in
this
country and across the UK. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying it happened.
But I think there was also a reaction by the government as well to the Irish bombings, to the Manchester bombing. And I think at that time, the government did react to those situations. There were punitive measures taken against the IRA, against... do you remember that crazy thing I think it was in the 80s, where any interviews with Sinn Féin were dubbed over? Do you remember that? I don't know if you did remember that.
Yeah, I do.
But that was our government reacting to a terrorist organisation. And we didn't really see, in my view, any reaction following it?
We didn't, because for the same reason why the security guard allowed the bomber in the venue with a backpack on after he'd been pointed out by members of the public of looking suspicious, because the young security guard was scared of being called racist. And that was exactly the reason why there was no backlash and people got the B, because I need to do something. I can't criticise anyone because they're brown Muslims. I'm going to be called racist. I'd rather have kids being blown up than me be called racist, for God's sake. But I will stand on the right side of history by having a tattoo put on me.
Yeah.
I'll defile my own body with a tattoo
Yeah.
than risk being called innist or a phobe.
Yeah.
It was pure cowardice.
Yeah.
And people might say, well, you can't blame the Muslim majority in Greater Manchester. Well, no, you can't blame them for that. Only people involved in it you can blame. But we haven't given the Muslim community in the UK any reason to sort their shit out, because the moderate Muslims are just as afraid of the radicals as we are. And what the government need to do is start giving more airtime and more credence to the moderate Muslims, and they need to shun the so-called community leaders who are not elected, they're just self-declared community leaders. And we need to support the Muslim community to rise up and eject the radicals.
Yeah.
But at the moment we don't do that. If anything, we support the radicals, hoping to keep a lid on them. You can't keep a lid on radicals. They're always going to do something. We need to support the moderate Muslims to reject the Islamists and kick them out of their community, and then we can deal with them. We don't solve this problem without moderate Muslims doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And at the moment we don't support them to do it.
We have a friend, Rob the American, and he has very strong views on the Muslim and the Islamic issue in this country, doesn't he? I think he once said to me, if we don't end up doing something, Britain will become a caliphate, or worse to that effect. It might be interesting to speak to him at some point on these. But I think in summary, we've talked about the Manchester Bee. So I think the reason I react badly to seeing a Manchester Bee on a car and make assumptions about the driver is probably I do have a subconscious.
Yeah.
You've kind of articulated something that I think, I don't know why I feel this way about the Manchester Bee, but I think it is a symbol of something that disturbs me. A symbol of something. I think you've articulated. It's basically a symbol. I'm not prepared to take strong action about a horrific thing that happened. Yeah. So I'll do something which is kind of
virtue signaling.
Yeah, it's a virtue signaling thing, but doesn't actually address the issue.
Yeah.
So it's probably that it's a symbol of passiveness. It's a symbol of underreaction to a series of, and maybe that's why I deliberately drive too close with people in Manchester Bee.
It's a little bit like Chamberlain waving that white paper on the steps of the plane.
Yeah.
Peace in our time.
Yes.
No, it was never going to be peace in our time.
Yes.
And that's what the Bee is. Peace in my time, hopefully. And they might kick off again once I'm dead. But if I had peace in my time, and you cannot appease radicals, we couldn't appease the Nazis.
Yeah.
Appeasement, as Churchill said, appeasement just means you let the crocodile eat you last.
Yes. Very interesting. That's an interesting subject. I also react badly to a symbol that says child on board as well.
I won't ram you then. Because I was going to ram you then.
Yes.
And now it's in well, I'm not going to ram you anymore.
Exactly,
now.
yes.
You're lucky.
Yeah,
you've got
exactly.
a child on board.
Because if they didn't have that symbol saying child on board, I would have driven straight into the back. And it's that kind of very patronising, you're a bad driver, you're going to ram me, therefore I need to let you know I've got a child on board, so hopefully you will, as if I don't normally drive carefully or appropriately or anything. So it's that kind of, it is a form of hectoring, isn't it? Both the Manchester Bee and the child on board. It is a form of virtue signalling, hectoring, telling people how they should behave, and I think that's why I badly to both of those.
The one that annoys me the most is when you're in an office somewhere at a reception and there's a sign saying we will not tolerate physical assaults or racial abuse to our staff. And it's like, all right, so you did before you put the sign up. So you used to, but now you put a sign up. And what you don't understand is the people who will physically assault you or racially abuse you don't care about your sign. It's not like, oh, I was just about to punch you in the face, but I've just read your sign. And I'm beginning to realise maybe I shouldn't do it. It's like, these signs are a waste of time. And I don't know why they put them up.
If you like that video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and comment. And if you like what I'm saying about running for Mayor of Greater Manchester, then stick around. Tell your family, tell your friends. The only way I'm going to have a chance of winning is a grassroots movement. So be part of that movement and hit that bell. Thanks.